make amends for those the decision affected. Yes, make amends. Good morning. My name is Jude or Mamigbe. It was a pleasure here this morning. River State right now has front and center this employment saga. That's what we're talking about. But yes, I'm not going to be looking at if the government was wrong or if the people were right. No. There's an interesting trend here. One that is very peculiar to this region. Very interesting scenario. But first, let's get to hear why some people were not pleased about this decision or what they think about it.
People commended them for the employment. Then at the end of the day, these people were sacked. It's very bad.
I just feel sorry for those persons. It's an anathema that after working for a period of 8 months, expecting that you've already gotten a job, at the end of it all, you were relieved from your job.
Let's start there. So 8 months, 9 months, that's a long time. All right. Yes, people celebrated, and this is where, like I said, we're getting to, because my question this morning is, how can the employment processes be more trustworthy? Because, like I said, there's something very peculiar to, this region, the Nigeria. I'm sure it happens all over the world, but it seems like a norm here for a lot of people, and that is the fact that when you have these employment processes, right, you hear things like, oh, there's a slot. We want to sell our slots. And so, you see, that practice has led to, interestingly, what I say is corrupt now, or the bargaining of economic opportunities. So when a company gets to one place, or when there's an employment opportunity in one institution or something, all right, you often hear people that I have one slot, or we have 5 slots. So if you're willing, you come, you will give us so you will sign that you will give us maybe 50% of your salary for the first four months or 6 months or even 1 year. I gather that there are some arrangements where for as long as you are there, interestingly, that you get to give somebody maybe 10% or 15% of your salary, or sometimes even 25%. First time I heard that, my boots were shaking. 25%. Do you want just to give somebody 25% of your salary every month for 5 years, 10 years? The person is doing absolutely nothing other than, I'm from this area, this contract is going to last maybe 2 or 3 years. For that duration of contract, since I cannot do the welding job, you can do it, but you're not from that area, you take my position, right? And things like that. And that's not the only way, corrupt practices have been going on when it comes to employment. There have been issues such as, individuals inserting names, the Nigerian issue of over bloated staff figures, ghost workers, people who work in one company, right, a federal parastatal, and then they go to another company, probably another state, more often a state government parastatal, right, and have their names with a little twist. Maybe the initials is FYJ. Then in the other one, they put JYF. Then in the third one, interestingly, they put FJY. The same person working for federal, state, local government in this country, ladies and gentlemen, in this country. And like I said, it's very, very common within this particular area. Now, I am not saying that those who have been affected by this issue at the Ignatius Ajuri University fall into this category, but there seems to be a sense that something was not quite clear. At least that's from the standpoint of the River State government.
I saw. You should call them back.
In Wike's administration, out of pressure from Rivers people, he didn't meet fit to call for employment. There was a site who registered, and there was also an exam they wrote in order to get the job. Now, after employment, a new administration has come telling them that the processes, the money they invested in course of getting the job, all has been void. It's not proper. I put all the blames to the state government, more or less like a gamble played with us. They give us this to achieve this.
They should settle the people that has worked before doing another employment.
All right, so they should settle the people that have worked. So 8 months, no salary. Now, I have to say this. Now, we live in a country where, people don't get paid, 1, 2, 3 months. Some people down tools. But we also know that particularly when it comes to government jobs, people continue to go because somehow they seem to be making money from that particular office. Somehow, at least from what we hear, that's why when you get some certain offices, some government offices, say, you have to pay for this. You're not meant to pay for it. Don't impress now. So that's how we keep this place running. That's one way that they make money, because they place levies on you. They have shortcuts. They have no more. We talked about shortcuts a while ago. Now that you get the gist, I like to assume, let's get to the conversation.
Said on this program do not represent the position of Nigeria Info FM. Nigeria Info, let's talk.
Alright, so just drop your name and your location and get patched through to us here in the studio. At Nigeria Info PH is where you find us on Facebook and Twitter. At Nigeria Info PH is where you find us on Facebook and on Twitter. Instagram and Threads are on at Nigeria Info FM _PH. Promise is in Gokana. Promise, good morning to you, please.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. We have Zion standby. Yes. Go on, Promise, please.
To have a recruitment that's genuine, it takes both the employer and the employee to understand the process that is involved in recruitment. Like I do to myself that I don't need to involve in any recruitment process that I cannot be proud of myself that I made it the job, and I will give credence to God for giving me the opportunity to get that job. I cannot go for and pay for a job and go back to the church and give testimony of how I got a job. These people are fond of doing these things. They will pay heavy amount of job to money to get a particular job, and they will go back to church and give testimony. I don't understand. A job process, a job recruitment has a process: advertisement, a period advertisement, application, first interview, second interview, as the case may be. I remember the 2013 teachers I phone call when looking at Mexican employment. I have my printout of that interview, of that exam. Yes, I see it. So there are process when an employer said, when you see them, you know these people are serious. Like that job they did last day, the real estate job. My wife was telling me that she wants to apply. I look at the whole thing and I say, this is not the real process of the recruitment. This is political patronage. And I can tell you, what happened in University of Education is because of political patronage. It's not because of they have one God or the people they wanted to employ and those who they don't want to employ are found there. So they are not happy seeing those who are not their political friends be on the job. So that is the thing we are having in this country.
So how do we make it more transparent? How do people get more comfortable? Zion is in GRA. How can people know that when they go for job interviews they will get the jobs?
Until we get to that point to consult or engage consultants, consortiums to employ people.
That way, it will be as transparent as possible. All right. Seems like a fair statement. 0809-030-6416, 0809-030-6416. Good morning, Jude. I'm not the kind of person who feels happy when others are crying, but let the truth be told, the recruitment process was never transparent. Same thing that happened in both UBE and senior secondary schools. Same thing that might happen in the civil service. There are several qualified people who can do these jobs, but you will go to the offices and see people who will end up embarrassing the school in the name of slot sharing. Let the government do whatever they want. For transparency, I think recruitment processes should be done by consultants. All right, that's another person reiterating that comment. We're back after the break.
For more talk, news and sports, stay tuned to Nigeria Info. We'll be right
it is the recruitment exercise. Now, my question is, how can the system be made more transparent? How can people be certain that, look, this employment process that they're about to embark on, or that they have, so that even if you don't get the job, you are rest assured that whomever it is that is working in that slot that you were vying for is one of, if not the very best person for that position. I have gone, just like many of you who are listening, I've gone for several interviews. Some of them were just outright, terrible, fraudulent. You could actually tell there's some level of nepotism going on. You could tell. But then there were some that you were just impressed at the overall orderliness, the way it was managed. And sometimes, I don't know if they still do that, but those days, when we were done with school, when you were going for employment opportunities, particularly if it was for an IOC or for what they call them, an oil servicing company, they not only would give you tea and biscuits during lunch when you're having a break from the interview. Sometimes they will make a provision for you to get back to where you're coming from. So there's a bus. Okay, those of you who are going to Rumala, we have a bus going out so that they can drop you guys at Rumala. They won't take you to your house. So the best hands were done. But we know that, look, there's nothing is 100% perfect. Yeah, we do know that. To talk about Michael Orukiri as well.
Good morning, dude.
Good morning.
Dude, I think we do not need a concept. How will you tell me that they did not follow the process? At what point do you realize
that something was wrong?
We must not give the impression of political correlation at each time we want to make our point. Our sense of business should not be clouded.
But Chima, once again, I know you are particularizing this scenario, but we're not. The focus not just on this issue. The focus generally on employment processes. Let's get back. How do you think it can be made more transparent? Now, you don't think we need to employ a consortium. Now, we've had people in the past even say, even when the government is carrying out its employment exercises, there's this level of now my brother. Let's put our brother. How do we, evade that stumbling block of putting our brother?
Dude, there's no opinion I'm going to bring here that will stop whatever it is. But one of the most important thing is people qualify. That is one thing, because employment must be done on
qualifications. Okay, Michael is in Boroki. Michael, do you share the same sentiments with Chima? That there's no need for consortiums, for consultants to come in?
Yeah. Good morning, Jude.
Good morning, please.
I want to share my own sentiment. The thing is that all we need is integrity, sincerity of a purpose. That's when you say consultant, are the consultants going to be from other countries? I don't know Nigerians. And Jude, also remember when people say every sector of Nigeria is corrupt. These consultants, are they not part of the sector that is corrupt? So but years back, I used to remember when banks want to recruit people, they go to a particular church whose headquarters is in Lagos to get people from that particular nation, that church rather, to fill sensitive positions, particularly the finance sectors.
Really? Now, I'm just hearing this for the first time. Interesting.
Maybe they go, but unlike before, because we lack integrity. And Jude, to finally, any job that the government wants to give at the end of its administration should not be taken seriously. People should be wiser by now.
Why? Why shouldn't they take? We're talking about the government, Michael. The government is meant to represent the people. It's meant to be of the people, by the people, and for the people.
Jude, don't forget, most of these consultants are still part of the government indirectly. That's what I'm saying. They are part of it. Forget the name they would bear or the CAC name that they bear. They are part of the government because the whole system is corrupt. All we need is integrity, character, information. That's the truth.
Okay. Right. Thank you very much, Michael. Says all we need is integrity. Well, Would like to remind you that when you call us, please turn down the volume of your radio set. Interestingly, both parties who just did that. They turned down the volume of their radio set. Please, once again, we don't want you to make derogatory or defamatory comments. If you didn't see it or hear it, do not make mention of it. That means do not make unsubstantiated and unverified claims. It's very important for our conversations here on Hello Port Harcourt.
Stimulating and insightful conversations. Hello Port Harcourt. 92.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
The views and opinions shared on this program do not represent the position of Nigeria Info FM. Nigeria Info, let's talk.
So 017-923-0002, 0817923-0003, 0817923-0003. Please, one more time, do well, only call that number. Do not call the WhatsApp or Telegram number. Now, this is the WhatsApp and Telegram number, and I'm going to be reading messages shortly. 08090306416, 08090306416. That's the WhatsApp and Telegram number. Emmanuel from Uniport says, how do we get it right? 1. Remove the sentiments involved in the processes, e.g. ethnicity, political affiliations, etc. 2. Hand over the process to professionals. 3. Make the process transparent. And what happened at the Ignatius Ajuru University is catastrophic, and the state should be held responsible. I beg your pardon. Good morning to you, Emmanuel. Good morning, Jude. The university authorities had sanctioned 2 of its staff involved in the employment malpractice by issuing employment letters to their cronies. It's the university that conducted the interview process, not the state government. All right. Now, good morning, Jude. People need to stop tying their identity to a job, because no matter how good you are at a job, you are not your job. Even when there's transparency and rightness in the recruitment process, anything can happen. In 2020, many people lost their jobs as a result of the pandemic, not human error or corruption. Maybe my mindset is because of the industry I work in. In the entertainment industry, you can book a gig presenting, dancing, modeling, acting, producing, etc., but not able to keep the gig for a reason that's not your fault. Imagine tying your identity to a particular title or gig. You'll just be permanently depressed. It's an anonymous message. Now, Alfred Somiari sent a very interesting piece. It says that contract law offer and acceptance. An offer was made to the general public in the form of an advertisement for job openings, and there was an acceptance by the public. The act by the River State government to nullify the appointment is a breach of contract under the contract law. Employees of the institution have furnished their side of the contract by going through the recruitment processes, issued appointment letters, rendered services to the institution for 9 months, only for the River State government to turn around and nullify the employment. This is unacceptable. So these alleged irregularities in the recruitment process, the onus lies on the state government to prove its claim beyond every reasonable doubt. Says the River State government should have a rethink. Alfred Sumiari. All right, Alfred, thank you very much. Great to have had that comment. But once again, not to particularize the school, we're talking about the general concept of employment here in the Niger Delta. How can it become more transparent? Last year, if my memory serves me correctly, when we had a similar conversation, a listener called and said, look, Jude, this is what happens when job openings are made. In some cases, they try to be transparent. They give out offers. They let the offers open. Oh, we are going to. But those communities, those areas where these companies are domiciled, will then come and impress upon these institutions or these companies, these businesses, okay, that look, you must put a certain percentage. So let's take for granted, for the interest of communal growth, and ease of doing business, that kind of thing, promote the local content, right? Let's assume that yes, you have to employ certain people from that area, but when you now give that quota, that what happens after then is where the real issue is. That sometimes those who are managing the employment processes, yes, it's meant to be transparent. They've given out offers, but call your son that doesn't have a job, call him. And then maybe the son or the uncle says, well, this job, I cannot do it. Oh, let me sell it. Let me give my slots out. And so, the birthing of the slot system, like I said, is I make a bold claim and say, after that conversation last year, that it seems to be what people are used to in these parts. In fact, one of the longest running scams. I don't get to have this scam. My friends who are in Lagos, who are in Benue State, for example, and also who are in Jos, don't get to have these scams, right? As much as we do here in Port Harcourt, in Warri, in Bayelsa, and let's see, Uyo and Calabar. They don't get to have this scam. And that scam is, hello, my name is James. I work with so and so oil company. There's a job opening. Are you interested? Call me. They don't get to see that scam. They don't. Why? Why don't they? But because, like I said, because it seems after that conversation, that was an eye-opening conversation for me. I have to be very honest. After that conversation, right, last year, right, where one of you, I can't remember who it was now, who called and said, look, this is what they do. They not only sell slots, but sometimes they sell the slots to multiple people. WhatsApp messages 009-030-6416 009-030-6416. Okay. Good morning, my brother. The employment was fellow by first 4 minutes online test. Those that passed the test were invited for one-on-one interview with the VC, and the short list of the names passed interview since November last year. All right, that's Smart Boy. Were you part of them, Smart Boy? Facebook and Twitter at Nigeria Info PH, at Nigeria Info PH is where you find us on Facebook and on Twitter. All right, so it's like I said, it's a conversation front and center right now in River State. People need to know exactly what is going on. Now, Bishop Godwin says the conditions of employment should be rightly spelled out. And Larry says we are crying for unemployment and we don't wish to see those that are employed lose their jobs. The employment saga is nothing to be compared with the saga in our electoral system or judicial system. All saga. Now saga. Interesting. All right, Akanto speaking to us from Borough. We'll get back to Facebook shortly. Akanto, good morning to you, please.
Shoot the smart guy on Nigeria Info. Good morning.
Good morning to you, Akanto.
Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning. Welcome, please.
Well, the saga of unemployment all over, not only on Nigeria, all over Nigeria social space. And, well, to me, like I have said it in the last program, and let us use a political solution for this issue. And also, affected should restrain. I think the government of the day at the ears of the youth, and the president one of River State, the youth. And I want to recall that the chairman of National Youth Council of Nigeria, the chairman of National Youth Council of Nigeria, has made a statement in the River State chapter that is to the youth of River State who were affected by this employment should be calm and they will involve. And I believe that Chijoki is working hard to ensure that this
Akanto. Hello, Akanto. Let's stick to let's stick to what we're talking about, which is how can it become more transparent? What methods do you think will make employment opportunities more transparent in this area, in Port Harcourt, in River State? What methods? We're not talking about what individuals. Individuals is not our conversation. That's another conversation another time. But how can it become more transparent, please?
The other way it can be, because before now, what they call verification of that human being.
Okay.
If those people who are applied should come up, just like what happened to the shoes. How managed will people were interviewed? Is it online? Many people will be online. But are they the number of people that they interviewed? Like the last one we did 10,000 civil service. I did it. It was about 4 minutes. I only had 4 questions. No, yes, 4 questions. The only way this is transparent, government of the day should set up panel of interviewer.
Okay.
You understand?
So that
the interviewee will come physically one-on-one they will write it and score them immediately. And if government have their own input, their own candidate to fuse, they should do that. Because everybody will have interest, either you like it or not. Even though the XGS, if it comes down here, you also have interest. But the issue of international, if the VC is involved and they register in this camp, they will go down first. They should release of their appointment.
Okay, all right, Kato, thank you very much. Now, back to Facebook at Nigeria Info PH, at Nigeria Info PH. All right, Olungwe Obo says ethnicity and nepotism should be avoided. Laws should be obeyed and institutions strengthened to handle responsibilities with laid down principles and transparency with necessary sanctions to any defaulter, be it an individual or the government. Government can pay compensation for a default. Interesting. Thank you very much. All right. Chile Edwin says, good morning to you. The truth remains that there was no intention by the former administration of River State to employ anyone because the agenda of the government doesn't capture jobs. Chile, that's not exactly true, because if that was those systems, those in quotes, those quotas that were giving out, those employment processes, yes, people criticized them, they wouldn't have held. But they did hold rather. Okay, all right. Matthew is speaking to us from Harbour Road. Let's get to say hello to Matthew this morning as we wrap up. We have about 5 minutes, so we'll take one or two more calls. Matthew, good morning to you, please.
Yeah. You are talking about transparency in recruitment.
Yes, please. How can that be achieved?
Yeah, if an applicant put an application to get a job, and you have been given a job, and after 3 months you have not been paid, you should know that you were not properly recruited. First of all, like the Elisha Amadi Polytechnic, before you can recruit anybody, the board will sit with the rector will now submit his request to the ministry. The ministry will submit their letter to the secretariat, where the payroll will be synchronized and the name will enter the payroll after their recruitment. If all these processes are not followed and you do your recruitment in your polytechnic, then you start telling people to wait and wait, then you know that there's a problem in the payroll. The establishment has not taken your name to the payroll because you were not properly recruited. So you have a process which you must follow, because the essence of recruitment is to get your pay. So if all these processes are not followed, you are just wasting time with the school. You will never be paid. And this is recruitment they entered after 3 months they were not paid. It was illegal.
So, but Matthew, let me ask you. In fact, there's a message I'm going to read now that's similar to what you were making comments on. Someone said, "Okay, so you've been working for 8 months and you kept going. Why? Why do you think, Matthew, some of these individuals kept going to work without receiving any pay?"
What happens is that the department will be giving them stipend. So don't worry. That process, they are trying to normalize the recruitment with the establishment. And when they get to the establishment, they have problems. They will not tell the applicant that, look, this is the problem we are facing. So you will just be there. That's the problem.
All right, Matthew, thank you very much. Great to have heard from you. Matthew speaking to us from Harbour Road. 08179230003, 08179230007. Once again, there's a call screener. Get to use the call screener. You get to say your hellos, what your point is, and then your name and your location will be sent to us here in the studio. I get to see it pop up on my screen, and then we can have a conversation. All right, so let's get to read the message now. I did say there's a message I'd like to read here. Good morning to you, Jude. I've been asking, why exactly did people go to work for 8 months without receiving pay? Didn't they know something was wrong? Did they make any complaints? What proof do they have that all the times that they were going to work, they were there early and they did what they needed to do? Jude, we live in a country where people would not be paid, yet they go to work because they found ways to make money off that particular system. Let's not kid ourselves. Many of these people, whilst they have been wrongly terminated, many of them were making money despite those shortcomings. Okay. All right, thank you very much. Judah, that's a very good. Judah is on the line this morning. Judah will show just after I read this message. Judah is speaking to us from the jobs. Neither the former administration will get ready to employ anyone because the agenda of the government doesn't capture job creation. Okay, all right, thank you very much. All right, if they're not properly recruited, who is to them the offer letter? Sandy is asking. Judah, good morning to you, please. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning, Judah. Hello, Port Harcourt it is.
Okay. So, can't we digitize the process to a large extent? Okay. to a large extent and made objective. That's one way we can improve the process. So if the real estate, for instance, has put up an online, they say, put the process and say, okay, the cutoff for you to even cost, whether you are from Begema, you're from Ahoda, whether you're from XYZ, it doesn't really matter. This is the cutoff. You make it clear, you make it transparent. All right? And anybody that crosses to so and so point, you know that definitely that is you cross to the next stage of the interview. Now, I know all interviews cannot be without some sort of human testing or personnel involved. Yes. Now, you get professionals, but you don't just get professionals. I want to really believe that because of the nature of our environment and our ethnicity, the blend of ethnicity we have, the different diverse nature, at least you should get, I want to suggest that professionals can be gotten from almost every ethnic tribe to be.
Hello?
For instance.
Okay. Judah? Hello, Judah? Oh dear. Hello, Judah. Okay. All right. Apologies, Judah. Sorry about that. Let's get to read more comments now, shall we? 009-030-6416 at Nigeria Info PH. At Nigeria Info PH is where you find us on Facebook and on Twitter. At Nigeria Info PH is where you find us on Facebook and on Twitter. All right, let's have a conversation this morning. How can employment processes become more trustworthy? Very simple, right? But apparently not so here, particularly in the Niger Delta. Like I said earlier, there's been a lot of reported cases of, in quotes, underhanded dealings. It almost feels as though they are being traded. Talking about these employment spots, they're being traded. Right? People don't quite know. And one of the complaints I've heard in the past is that, people will tell you, hey, look, or it's a claim, because I'll be hard pressed that you would remember every single, face that came for an interview, and you guys were about 400 or 500. But people have claimed, we went for an interview, names came out, and then when the employment was done and people started working, this person, in name no day. That's one of the allegations I've heard. And I kept on asking, but do you know everybody? Do you have an idyllic memory that, just a glance or two at the script, you will remember everything? Are you blessed or cursed with that kind of memory? So how then can you tell? But some people swear, really, literally swear that, look, A, B, C, X, Y, Z person was not on that list, but yet the person has a job, the person is taking salary, the person is doing A, B, C, and D, but they know the person wasn't there. So I cannot prove it. But if the belief is that there are shortcomings and there are loopholes in the employment system, then maybe those things, particularly for those of you and those of the locals who are listening, there needs to be some measure of correction. Can't have this all the time repeating. Now everybody's focused at the Ignition Nigeria University. Tomorrow it could be somewhere else. It shouldn't be like this. Not in 2023. No. Well, as always, thank you for joining us in our conversations. We'll have a break coming up shortly. The news update comes your way by 10 a.m. and in about 5 minutes past that hour, we'll be switching conversations right here on Hello Port Harcourt. My name is Jude. Good morning.
To thrive in a fast-changing world.
Tune in to 92.3 Nigeria Info for the best of you.